You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla Kallander and Andrew Yagi. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
Welcome to episode 81 of the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla Kallander and I'm a mortgage lender.
And I'm Andrew Yagi. I'm a real estate agent. Long time no see, Kayla Kallander.
Man, no see, I know it's been a little bit, but it's good to see you. Good to be back. We took a little break, which has to happen now and then with our busy schedules.
Well, I feel like we would keep pumping out content, but we're like you say, busy. I know you had a very, very busy, last month between mortgages and travels and lake time and things have been decently busy here as well. And hey, thanks for serving another client of mine with excellence. We just got to the finish line, yesterday, the day before.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome. This individual, we talked after the fact and they just said, "Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for all of your advice and your recommendations. Everyone you've recommended has been really, really awesome, especially Kayla." This is someone who was they were pretty intent on, working with a national bank. Because that bank is known for a certain type of loan. And I said, okay, that's great, but I've had some really horrendous experiences with that particular lender, and it's very, very fresh for me. And I said, I guarantee you'd have a much better experience if you worked with someone local. And by the way, meet my friend Kayla. She's awesome.
They were wonderful. I love the collaboration. And, it's funny, people just think rates and fees, but they don't think about the person that's going to help them through this huge, next, exciting, scary, emotional step. And we had so much fun with those clients. And we introduced them to somebody else that was able to help them with private banking. And we introduced them to certain people. And it's all about just basically putting your arms around people, especially when they're moving from out of state. They don't know anybody. And so they trust the people that we send. So thank you for trusting my team, because that was a fun couple to work with. So we're grateful.
And it's pretty rare that we say fun, when it comes to the business side. In fact, a lot of people, will even say to me, Kayla, like, hey, real estate's great. You can make great commissions, and wow, what a great job. You sell some pretty awesome properties. And yeah, it can be great. But where it's really great is serving clients like that, like the day-to-day minutia, dealing with, the headaches, the issues that pop up, a lot of emotions, a lot of erratic behavior at times, oftentimes make this not always very fun, Kayla. So I'm always excited, when we can have an experience like that, where it actually makes our job enjoyable, because, hey, you see people that are very appreciative and things just go very well.
The people that trust us, the people that say, listen, you do this thousands of times, you've been doing it for decades. Like, those are the people that have the best experiences when you just trust. I understand that the consumer mindset has shifted a little bit. The world has really, is that we don't trust people, and we trust a stranger's review on Google more than we trust sometimes a person helping us. But the people that really just trust us in this industry are the ones that have the best experience. Because when you're like cautiously like optimistic and you're like, I don't know, people get in their heads. And I actually had a closing last week. The person was in their head the whole time, like, it's this easy. Well, what's going to go wrong? Well, I've heard insurance agents are this and realtors are, he was just so coming into it, not open-minded, and he stressed himself out the whole time. And here it was perfectly okay. So it was such a pleasure to get to work with people that just trust you and kind of lean in to your expertise.
Yeah, for sure. And again, kind of like we talked, and like we often talk, the best people to work with are the people that actually they value you, and they look at you kind of as a resource, and they kind of respect the guidance and everything that you're providing them. That's where it gets kind of fun.
It is, and it was a fun one. So it's like you said, it's not common we say fun, but that was fun.
Right on.
Cheers.
What else is going on, Kayla? Actually, I saw you were at an event lately, and I think we were going to try to shoot, but then I think you ditched me for some VIP party
Yeah,
gathering,
I did
something.
too for the VIP fun. Yes, I was at the Forward event in Las Vegas. It's like no other event I've been through. Some call it a conference. It's really not a conference. It's more of an event, and it was so incredible. The theme was dangerously inspired. It truly is a lot of real estate professionals. It was actually half mortgage lenders, half realtors. I mean, there's insurance agents and other entrepreneurs in there too. Um, but half women, half men. But the speakers that were there, I mean, Dan Martell, Christo, like you can see, Ryan Leake. There were so many incredible humans. Johnny Cupcakes was there, and every single one of them on stage brought something fresh and new. Brian Miller, he was a magician and he's now a speaker. We had Clint Pulver, who was the drummer for Tim McGraw and the drummer for Carrie Underwood, and he, shared his story and the whole idea and thought process of this event. It's not about here's how you use your CRM and here's a mortgage tip and here's a sales tactic. It truly is about the connection you have with your client. We talk about gifting, client experience. We talk about making it feel that it's relationship driven, not transactional. We talk about personal brand and video and AI. And so all of these speakers brought so much together from, if you're a leader or if you work alone, it was just everything amazing. No one was out of their seats. Some of these events, people are kind of lingering or, they sleep and they don't go to the event. There was not one empty seat of the 1,000 people attending. So it was incredible. I had a blast and I will definitely be there next year. So
What was your biggest takeaway from the event?
yeah, I think there's a few. I really liked meeting Dan Martell. Dan wrote the book, maybe you've heard of it, Buy Back Your Time. And he talks about delegation. He talks about how to live a life so that you don't have to be grinding, the whole time. And he has certain frameworks that he speaks about in his book and on stage. So I really liked his topic because it really kind of hit home for me of how do I, delegate? How do I, trust other people? And that's hard to do, but once you do that, that allows you to scale and grow, and not just scale and grow as like transactional, but to show other people how they can give the KK experience, basically. So Dan Martell was fabulous. One of the biggest takeaways I had too was just, and I wouldn't even say it was a takeaway, it was more of a reminder, Andy, is your personal brand. That you can never lose your personal brand, no matter what company you work for, no matter what product you sell. People want to work with people. And so it just talks about, being genuine and showing up, and, you showing up online is not the thought that it used to be of, selfies and duck face. It's showing up to educate and empower the people that need it. And you're probably inspiring people that you don't even know. And so that was a very big reminder. And not that you asked for three things, but I'm going to give you three things. The connections, the people around you, the community. I mean, meeting people that I've never met before, looking up to someone that introduced themselves to me of like, hey, Kayla, like it was great for confidence. It was great for connection and collaboration. So from realtors to lenders, we all know that this business is a grind. And when you can all get in one room and connect and have this energy, it's irreplaceable. So 3 takeaways. You got Andy.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think last year we kind of recapped probably on about episode 41, right? Of you going to Forward, and I said, hey, I'm coming next year, and then here it's come and gone. I should really make a point to go. So please drag me with next year because it sounds and it looks like it was a pretty awesome event, even though I try not to go to a lot of events that have, a lot of agents or, allied professionals there. I mean, and I shouldn't even say not those individuals there, but just, that not being the focus. And I guess, real estate isn't the focus of that, but, there are some parallels, no doubt.
Yeah, I think, the person that puts it on, Neil Dingra, he's a mortgage lender. And so he had just started it. So that's why a lot of the attendees are in real estate. It's because of the community that's, that attracts. So then I tell you, and then you tell your friends that are agents. So anyone that, I was telling my friend that they own a window washing business. I'm like, you guys should go. Like, you guys could really, learn a lot from this. You don't even have to be in the industry, but definitely a good event.
Sure. Awesome.
Next year.
Awesome. What else is going on?
Well, I was seeing I want to know more about you. You were flying around all over the place recently, weren't you?
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit more flying this year. So it's been kind of Kind of fun, kind of exciting, actually. Took us out to Nantucket,
Nantucket.
Massachusetts, which was kind of fun. Katie and I, actually, she ventured out that way too, and so we had a really, really great time, kind of exploring out there a little bit, and
That's fun.
uh, totally different lifestyle. But no, it's been a really fun summer. I mean, we've had a lot of great experiences, taking more time to do more family stuff, things with our girls. I'm trying to be more intentional about getting away, from the office, and taking time
Good.
to make memories. Just because, Kayla, we know there's always more work and there are always more clients to serve and always things in that are needed, but all about delegation. So I've got a great team. I'm trying to delegate a little bit more and trying to focus on what's most important, and again focus on those individuals that just really value what I do, just kind of like the same thing with you.
Yeah, and I think it's important, and it makes you, being, you know, able to spend time with family makes you probably a better realtor, and being a better realtor, it just kind of all, flows into each other. So we don't get this time back, right? You don't get time back with your kids, and the fact that you can hop on a plane and go anywhere is pretty cool. You get to decide. That's awesome.
Yep. I've got a student of mine, so I do just a tiny bit of flight instructing. I don't have a lot of time for that, but I've got a student who I kind of introduced to aviation when he was in 8th grade. He just graduated high school, and he's
Mhm.
hopefully going to take his private pilot check ride tomorrow. So after we're done with this, I've got to go show a few houses, and then we have to go do one more flight and polish up a few things, do some paperwork, and the weather doesn't look spectacular, but hopefully we'll be
Yeah,
able to get to it and help him
that's
reach his goals.
exciting. That's awesome. So he'll fly alone for the first
Yeah,
time.
with an examiner. Mhm.
Okay. Is he scared?
I mean, I think everyone's nervous, especially
Mhm.
for their first check ride, but he's a smart kid, so I think he'll do very well. And like I always tell everyone, it's like, hey, it's kind of on you. Like, an instructor can only take you so far, but at a certain point, we've got to kick you out of the nest and
Yeah.
get studying, and it's on you.
Love it. Well, if I buy a plane one day, I know who I'm hiring to fly me around. Right, Andy?
Right on, Kayla.
We can fly to Vegas together. Wouldn't that be fun? We could
Vegas would
actually
be
do that.
it better be a fast enough plane like a jet, because otherwise Vegas is kind of a haul in anything else.
It's a haul. What's a haul?
A
Like a
haul meaning it's a long haul. It's a trip.
okay. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that offline.
Sounds good. Hey, what are you seeing in the mortgage world in rates and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, we saw rates come down a little bit, then up a little bit. 30-year fixed. I mean, I feel like I'm on repeat here, but under 7%, 6.83, as you can see here. FHA is 6.41. North Dakota housing rates are pretty similar, a little lower for those first-time buyers, but I mean, we're seeing them up just a little bit, but no big movement, nothing wild, nothing crazy. I mean, you'll see headlines that say mortgage rates are the lowest they've been since, X, and it's by an eighth. It's nothing significant. It changes people's payments $38 in some senses. So not a lot of movement. We did see a little bit of pickup last month in applications, like a surge in purchases. The last probably week or so, 2 weeks, we've seen a little bit of a decline in apps, and I feel like that's just because of the holiday and summer, and oftentimes July people are on vacation. Around here, I mean, everybody seems to be on vacation because August is back to school. June, the weather's not as nice. You're kind of getting off of school, getting out. But I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown, and then we'll probably see a pickup again. But we closed 14 loans last month, got 14 families into homes. This month, 17 or 18. So people are buying. People are still taking those next steps. And before you and I got on this podcast today, we were looking at our numbers from last year, and you and I were both kind of seeing quite a pickup. And I think that speaks well, despite what rates are doing, inventory, things like that.
People must be attracted to us or something, Kayla, or we're doing
Yeah.
something
Our
right.
podcast, our podcast is reaching the depths of everybody.
The podcast is doing it.
What,
We talk quite a bit about the importance of who you work with and having a good experience. And I list more homes than I work with buyers, and
yeah,
obviously you pretty much just work with buyers. Some buyers that have to sell, but you obviously see some problems, with listing agents and even buyers agents and having to do their job
yeah.
for that matter. So it does matter who you work with. And I've got to share something with you. I think you'd get a kick out of this. I saw it online as a billboard for the Jill Biggs group of Coldwell Banker
Oh.
In New Jersey, last year we sold 526 homes. Your cousin sold 2.
Oh,
List responsibly.
oh my gosh. I mean, it's true though. Like, oh gosh. I mean, it's funny, Andy. I'll ask people, they'll be like, well, I'm shopping around lenders. I'm like, what are you shopping for? What are you looking for? Oh, well, the rate. And I'm like, okay, well, everyone, rates are rates. We're all usually pretty close and whatnot. I'll also ask them, do you know how much experience that lender has? 9 out of 10 times, no, I have no idea. Same with realtors. Oh, how did you get connected to that person? Oh, it's my hairstylist, etc. And that's fine. That's great. But when we think about the experience for the biggest purchase that you may ever make or biggest sale you'll ever make, it's a big deal. But I like that billboard. You should do that. I feel like you should do that.
List responsibly.
Do
I
it.
I kind of like it. Maybe
I
I
like it.
will. I'll have to brainstorm that a little bit. Have a few
Yeah.
conversations with ChatGPT and see how
Yeah.
we can spin it. So
Yeah. You'll have to.
speaking of that topic, I appreciated your reel that you put out the other day. Maybe let's just watch
You
it.
can get pre-qualified with a mortgage lender, have a conversation, and meet with a realtor, and go into her homes, and still decide not to buy. It's okay. Just because you go through those steps does not mean that you should feel pressured to purchase a home. What we encourage in our industry is just to have the conversation, explore it. Having these steps in place allows you to decide if homeownership is right for you or not. I've talked to numerous people who have taken these steps and have decided to buy after 6 months or 2 years. Don't feel pressured to buy a home just because you've taken the steps. Pat yourself on the back and be proud that you've taken those steps, that you know for sure that your decision is right, whether it be now or later that you buy that home. You can get pre-qualified with.
I like it.
Thank you. I mean, I just keep running into people that say, hey, I'm in a lease for 6 months. And I'm like, perfect. This is great timing, or a year. And they said, well, I don't want to do anything until then. But then what's happened is when we get to that point, they've got a late something or another. I had a client a couple months ago that had a mortgage late. So there's a certain time frame that you need to wait. So had we known that, he wouldn't have been looking at homes. So I just share with people, there's no commitment.
Meaning they made a late payment on their mortgage?
Yes, if you have a mortgage late, there's typically, depending on the term, the 30, 60, 90, you may have to wait a year to buy, like
Really?
until that's up. Yeah.
So if I were to miss paying my mortgage payment this month and I went and found something else to buy, I might get kind of blacklisted.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and people don't know because, well, why would you know, right? So that's why I share with everyone. It's not that you have to go buy now, to refresh your application. I mean, we literally collect pay stubs and updated bank statements. It's nothing crazy that you have to worry about, and it's more so peace of mind. So I shared that reel because I want people to know there's no pressure to buy right now, but to also help be proactive for when that house comes up, or if there's collections or derogatories on your credit, you know about it, because you might be able to hypothetically say you want a $2,500 a month payment. If your credit score is low, you're going to have a higher rate. So that $2,500 payment, it's going to be more like $2,700. So if we can fix your credit or guide you to get that improved, that just saves you money in the future. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars. So I put out that reel because I really firmly believe that the client needs to know there's no pressure.
Sure. No, I like that. And again, a lot of people, when they're coming into this, and even like my wife would say, she's like, I struggle with some of these grown-up things. And I think a lot of people do. Like, it can be overwhelming when you're trying to juggle daily life and then, think about the pressures of buying a house, having to sell first, et cetera, who to work with. So yeah, so I think that is really, really a good reminder for people, Kayla.
Yeah, well, and we keep reminding, because not everyone's going to listen to this podcast or the next, but they might listen to the next one. And so I know we hammer on it a lot, but the media and people are they're not getting educated on this. So I mean, this is our opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm. Kayla, I saw kind of a neat article that you sent across. And so we talk a lot about, like, right now, we've had issues with affordability. Home prices continue to increase. We've had issues with inflation, just the cost of living, and high interest rates. So home ownership is not within reach for everyone, just looking at, what an individual needs to earn in order to purchase a house. And
Mhm.
then I had never thought about this until you sent it along. But
Mhm.
should you buy a home with friends at a time when housing affordability is at an all-time low? People are reconsidering just who makes a good real estate partner. Tell me
Mhm.
about this.
Well, a lot of people are finding that, they're single and they, may not want to have the responsibility and the payment and all of these things to own a home. They might not be married. They might not have somebody to, you have two incomes. That helps. Traditionally, that helps. Two people making the payment. So this article talked about people buying with friends. And so I haven't done a lot of loans where it's two people. I actually, though, this summer had clients I helped a couple years ago. Well, here's the deal though. One of them wants to move out of state. The other one wants to stay there. So if you are buying a house with a friend, well, are you going to get the equity that you put in there? And how are they going to do that? So we are now looking at that person that wants to stay to refinance and cash out to pay that other person. But
Hmm.
now they're increasing their loan amount at a higher rate to pay them. And so it can get complicated. So their best opportunity might be to sell it so that they can just get paid out and split it. But that's kind of the challenge is, how do you create home ownership? How do you create that experience, have the yard, everything? If you're a single person, I think a lot of people get nervous about it, especially women. I think that there's a lot of people that are like, hey, if I can buy a house with a couple friends, that would be helpful. My buddy's good at this and my sister's good at that. So I haven't seen a lot of it. Have you? Have you witnessed any people
I,
buying together?
I really haven't around here. I've often seen a single individual purchase a house and then rent.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people even will Airbnb a room. But this article also talks a little bit about Kayla about individuals who want to get into real estate investing, but
Yeah.
maybe just not having enough funds to purchase on their own. So talking
Yes.
about purchasing places and having it as an investment property. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really talks a lot about the growing interest in platonic purchasing strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something I hadn't thought of, but that's actually some pretty good advice. It's just like around here, I just don't see it.
Well, if you think about it, if you and your girlfriend, or you and your boyfriend, or whatever it may be, two sisters, whatever it may be, we see this a lot with like lake homes where people will go in together, but not often a residence. And I think home ownership feels harder to achieve than ever, and things are more expensive, and there's a lot that goes into it. So if I put myself in someone's shoes that was single and I wanted to get out of my apartment and start creating wealth, it's a way to do it.
Hmm. Right on. I'll have to
Mhm.
see if that picks up. I think that's
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah,
So,
we'll see.
well, Kayla, also of interest, you passed along some housing stats from Fargo. Um,
Mhm.
I don't have anything for my market prepared for today, but it was kind of interesting for me, kind of taking a look, at the home sales. Obviously, we can see
Mhm.
that this year's sales are down a little bit.
Yeah.
So are sitting a little bit more. Not as many people pulling the trigger. It's not huge, but it's I would say that 57 homes, like that's fairly significant.
Yeah.
Seeing the
Yeah.
active listings, 1,288, so another 48 more homes on the market. New listings are down a little bit, which that was kind of surprising to me a little bit. But
Mhm.
obviously, things are sitting on the market. Again, price appreciation, things keep going up, and
Mhm.
almost as many homes are under contract. So
Look at that sold price, Andy. Go back to that sold price, 322. So if you bought last year, you're paying 300. I mean, average sold price again, average 322, 464,
mhm.
353. I mean, the cost of waiting, and that's it. The proof's in the pudding, right there.
Right,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah, that's huge, and kind of West Fargo, some very similar, except I guess home sold was about the
Yeah.
same year over year,
Same.
which kind of interesting. Horace is
Mhm.
obviously selling more as it's growing, and there's
Yes.
a lot going there, but more active homes, more sitting on the market, and part of that probably is some of the Southdale Farms homes that aren't selling down
Yes.
there. But yeah, very, very interesting numbers. Interesting always. I kind of like stats. And,
I
so in
do.
some ways we're, the housing market's always shifting, but obviously we know generally in our area, inventory is generally tighter than some other areas.
Mhm.
of the country, but definitely still some good movement out there.
I just had a client, they made an offer on a lake home in Wisconsin. Again, lake property, another state. They lost to another offer for 55,000 over. And this was like a 400 to 500, I think it was like 490, somewhere in there, 55,000 over. And so it felt like almost we were back in 2020, 21. And then I had a client this week that sent a cancellation for their purchase because they can't get their house sold in Fargo, which feels different. It feels like things are flying off the market, and it shifts a little bit. So it's interesting to see, what some of these clients are going through.
Right on. Yeah, it's all over the board. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of peculiar things lately too. And then still I just put a lake property up on Ottertail and had multiple offers. So it's kind of and then have some that nobody will look at. So all over the board, Kayla. So
yeah, it is. It really is.
Well, as we wrap up today, Kayla, a lot of good stuff. I'm definitely putting a forward event on my calendar for next year. But do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Yes, talk to a lender, talk to a realtor, talk to an insurance agent, talk to a financial advisor, talk to a tax accountant, whatever it may be. If homeownership is even on your mind, I don't know about you, but people have dreams, people have hopes, they have fears, all these things. Talk about it. Don't be afraid, and find the right people that are willing to listen, because it just makes my heart burst. I'm so happy when someone comes to me. I just had a call, Andy. I don't even know if this is right for me. I'm buying a house alone. And we finished your app, and I'm so excited to get on a call and say, hey, you can do this. So my last thoughts are just have the conversation, have an informal, casual conversation with someone.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
What about you? You have to have a final thought.
Oh boy, final thought. I would just say, find your people and find your happiness, Kayla. I think it's life is challenging. There's so much noise out there today, and society and people, and there are just so many messages out there telling us what we should do, who we should be, who we should work with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that life can get overwhelming in so many ways, but so sometimes slowing down and just enjoying life. I think I've been trying to, enjoy more time outdoors, enjoy more time with family. Again, just recognize that, you can't be everything to everyone. So go find your people and just learn to find happiness, because life goes by way too quick. I say this too, especially as I'm embarking on my, going to head to Thief River Falls for my 20-year class reunion this weekend. So.
Oh my gosh, fun, exciting. What are you guys doing?
Just kind of having a social. There's golf if you want to, and then kind of out at the golf course, a meal and some cocktails and socializing. The fair's in town too, so maybe a little. So we'll see.
Fun. Oh, enjoy. Well, happy 20-year. We didn't have one because Seth Matheson didn't organize it. Seth, I'm calling you out.
Well, Kayla Kallander better organize it next time, then, I guess. Well, Kayla, that wraps up episode 81. Have a great rest of the week.
I will if you will. Bye, Andy.